AD threat, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
For the side of CFO is terrifying. Azir taking away something stable, standard. Again, keeping the Kai'Sa out of the hands of Hope. In general, I think a lot of these Kai'Sa comps are comfort for pretty much every team in the world, right? She's just been so powerful for so long, alongside a lot of those utility mid laners. So what will the final ban be for the side of CFO?
Also, CFO have kept on winning, even though they literally changed top lane players, still with Sion. So they can't do that. Because of Fearless, you're going to have to win without Sion.
The first game they'll have to win without Sion. Perhaps that is the secret. Orianna picked up for Shanks, so maybe we're looking at a potential draft that will...
Ooh, do we get a HongQ, like a Kali or some kind of assassin into it? Oh, I think that would be so spicy. I think that would be so sick. Pick some champion to try and kill this Orianna, who is, you know, like one of these tier 1 blind pick mid lane champs up there with the Rise right now. Yep. And so nothing out of the ordinary so far, but let's see what CFO want to cook into it. Rumble, again, pairs really well with Jarvan. Honestly, it pairs well with all the other AD jungles too, though. Pantheon and the like. Vi is also still available for the guaranteed lockdown. Any of these, possibly because those are all up, they don't have to do it early.
Trundle, the other champion, obviously with the pillar that can be good with the Rumble, but instead it's the Pantheon. We talked about it nerfed and then buffed again as we come into Worlds, or slightly
still
less nerfed.
Yeah. Still very good. They walked back their monster damage, the monster damage gutting that took place, and put some damage back into them. So it's clear as fine now, albeit a little bit reduced. And still, the reason I like it so much is because not only do you have the point and click, which is always great for Rumble. You know, you're gonna have point and click stun to keep someone on the equalizer, but Pantheon's global, and then Rumble's is like what, like two or three screens, 2 screens. Full range, very long range, and so you can apply so much pressure with how well CFO have played the map. So let's get back to regular skirmishing though. LEona and Xin, a jungle support that you know well. The LEona pairs so well with the Xin, working around. That duo is very fearsome, making strong. Oh baby, do we get exactly what we wanted? Come on, come on!
Every time you look anywhere else, CFO tries to
I feel like it's Christmas. Come on, heck yeah!
Is Santa coming to town? HongQ?
I asked early, Drakos.
You asked early,
I wrote it on my list.
Boy, Kobe.
I sent it up to Santa, and we get it. Yes, we get it. The Pantheon puts so much pressure too on Ori. You can just you can trade flashes no problem with Orianna. Go in there, level 3, level 4 Pantheon, trade your flashes with the Orianna. Then by the time the Akali is level 6, that Orianna gets killed.
Absolutely. Level 6, the terrifying point. If you are flashless in that 1v1 matchup, you are not making it out alive. That said, AL, it's stock standard, but it's solid. It's powerful. Tarzan, if you get a lead on this Xin, similar to the Pantheon that we see for JunJia on the opposite side, this is a champion that can take over the game. The downside is Xin is at his best when you have these long-range carries who can't really deal with his ultimate. Rumble and Akali aren't those champions, nor is Pantheon, so we'll have to see if any more of those vulnerable options come out from CFO later in the draft. I think in terms of overall execution, I see a lot of potential in terms of what AL are bringing, but maybe not the ideal options.
Also what is Flandre going to play into Rumble? The Ornn and the Galio, blah, blah, blah. We say that literally every time. But
blah, blah, boring stuff. Next thing.
He could do like a Flandre York, like one of his specialties. So we'll see if they get a little bit, if they mix it up a little, and they're like, oh, I guess York is hard when you are playing towards Pantheon Global and stuff, though. It's kind of annoying slayer. So they banned out those boring ones that we said, though. The
standard conventional options. Alistair's been the takeaway from Kaiwing, and of course that is one of his kind of his signature picks. A champion he's super solid on. I imagine we'll see another ranged, or excuse me, melee kind of engage option taken away. Maybe a Rel.
Yeah, Rel with Rumble's always pretty nice, grouping people up. What other offensive look here?
Super, okay. Sivir, obviously the power to both hyperscale and also with the use of her ulti on the hunt, enable a lot of these frontline divers.
Spell shield safety is kind of annoying as well. All right. So we're going to get another form of safety. No spell shield safety, so we can get the Xayah ultimate safety for the LEona engage.
Feels like probably an immediate, Rakan to follow. 5th pick, but they can take their time.
Oh, some defensive. Okay, so you don't ban the Braum, and you've got the LEona, then they're going to pick it up. So Braum is quite good answer to LEona because LEona just goes in, and Braum definitely blocks a lot of the damage and can try and punish you as you try and make your way out.
AL flicking through a lot of potential AD options, most of them looking like scaling picks. Varus, of course, would be a different story. I think we still want to see. It's tough because CFO have so much raw power, but the amount of reliable hard CC isn't there. Braum obviously with Concussive Ballistic has a lot of potential, but it's not as easy as something like a LEona and a Xin.
Merc Tread's value is really good again too, by the way, with double AP with Ziggs and Orianna, and LEona being stuns as her CC.
A lot of magic damage, very magic damage heavy.
I mean, you're always gonna have a lot of magic damage. The key is, when you have a lot of magic damage, get knockups on your team and not stuns. That's usually the key of avoiding tremendous Merc Tread value. So, you know, Zin's got a knock-up, Orianna Shockwave is a displacement, and Ambessa ulti as well. So, got a little bit of that. Meanwhile, Freljord synergy, anyone?
A little frosty,
good engage.
Bot lane.
That is some good engage.
This is nice too.
More offensive look, though.
Heavy debate. They opt for, I think Ezreal's kind of the, the safe choice. Obviously just helps you get away, but instead opting for the Lucian alongside the Braum can be a lethal duo.
Yeah, I love the mobility. When you're facing this AL squad here, mobility looks very good to get away from LEona, Ori, and Ambessa engages. So definitely like the Lucian here with Braum, a classic combo. The new classic, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
is it the original classic?
Original?
Well, there was Thresh Lucian, there was Lucian Braum back there, then there was Lucian Nami, and are we back to Lucian Braum?
I'm not tracking Lucian's partners, okay? You know what? If you want to go talk to Lucian...
Senna went in the Lantern and Bro went wild,
if
bro.
you,
I don't
want to
know
go talk to him about it. But anyways, the new bald hotness.
Until we get Isaac back. Until we get Isaac back.
Yeah, Isaac is the original bald hotness.
Original bald hotness.
Yeah.
Of course, for both of these teams, a lot of short-range champions. Outside of kind of the Orion and the Ziggs, who have a little bit more range, and the Kaiwing from Lucian, there's a lot of champions who want to be up in the face of the opposition. Essentially, yeah, like 8 out of the 10 champions we have in this game, relatively close range. We're going to have some super scrappy fights, but often when you have these shorter range compositions, early leads matter that much more. Remember, game 1, pretty close up until that 18-minute fight. That's where the entire game blew wide open. Whoever takes an early fight like that is really set to take control of the second game in this series. Again, reminder, both these teams 2-0 took down the opposition in best of ones pretty effortlessly. Now in a best of 3, decide who will join KT in the quarterfinals.
So I do see one possible problem for CFO here. And this is going to be pretty good for AL. AL's comp, they have really good wave clear. Okay, let's take a look at this. You know, one of the big reasons, obviously, is that champ you just saw on your screen, Hope there with the Ziggs. But AL have really good wave clear, and CFO do not have any long range aside from the culling, which is poke and not siege. So this CFO team, this comp, does not siege very well at all, and so it revolves around objectives, neutral objectives, and winning the team fights. I don't think that's necessarily an inherent problem. You know, you don't have to have team comps that are, great at just sieging by themselves because there's so many plentiful objectives in the current meta.
But if you end up in a stalled out neutral game, having that wave clear can just make it so difficult to set up on a play first, which is what CFO were so good at in game 1, always being first to the objective, always having their waves in a better position. It's going to be much harder this game.
Yeah, and it just means it's going to be necessary for them to have these team fights, this objective play, since the wave clear is going to be quite good on the side of AL.
HongQ early on. Orianna obviously, decent in these early levels just because her passive gives her so much damage without needing to use abilities. HongQ will do what he can to hold on, but keeping our eyes on where JunJia is going. You mentioned it before. If you can just get that Orianna's flash, the second Akali takes over to level 6, she has so much kill pressure in the 1v1.
Yeah. You definitely go for early ganks. You don't want to fall behind in experience to a Xin, though, for sure. Xin, very good for dueling, renowned for the aggressive plays. Doggo, by the way, nice little chunk there with the level 2. gets a pretty nice unanswered trade in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, HongQ soaking at the moment. Rely on the Dorans, and for now, the second winds, which, by the way, I think I did see second wind nerfs for Alive, and we're going to have some pretty big changes to meta, you know, post-Worlds and stuff, and looking towards next season. But for right now, you get a lot. You just get so much sustain with that combo. Resolve secondary plus your Doran's shield, which is also getting nerfed and changed, is a big reason why you get to play some of these some of the melee matchups.
Of course, HongQ, I guess, leveraging what's strong in the patch. Probably already was happy to do so, but a good indicator that you're playing the right stuff is if you see it nerfed on the next patch. HongQ forced to use the Shroud here as Shanks doing his best to stay at arm's length, but okay, does get the cannon. Does Q lower, wants a cannon of his own. Is he willing to risk his life for it? The answer is no, -1.
Yeah, it's not looking great for him right now, and if both junglers gank, then it becomes hard. Level up, though, is good.
Shanks slowly but surely running out of mana.
Okay. Chilling. Both the junglers just getting their Raptor wards for second respawn of Raptors for their opponents. And pretty standard.
Lane, JunJia wandering in. Again, often with the Ziggs, LEona, you can take control of the lane early on, but Braum is just so good into these melee options. It makes it hard for Kael to do much, and JunJia to commit to the dive, moves in. After charge doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. 3 markup, that's 4 on the concussive blows. Kaiwing now moving out. Tower angle flawlessly traded. No one nearby to punish.
Great dive again here from CFO to start it out, taking out the Ziggs. Minion wave is going to bounce back away from AL as well. This is so good for CFO and very efficient as well. JunJia, even though Kael is chasing him, JunJia can recall now. He's not going to be too delayed on his second clear. And immediate swap from CFO. I like this too. Sending Doggo and Kaiwing up to the top side.
Trying to be proactive on the map. Looking to get rest back down to the bottom lane. He's getting closer to 6, which will mean it'll be easier to clear the waves, and still ahead.
Yeah, he'll just teleport down there to answer the quick push from the Ziggs, who used his teleport to get down there to quickly answer. So do really like this from CFO. Just immediate kill into swap on the other side, catch the wave with the teleports.
And those are the little things that are important and have been giving CFO the edge, right? The heads-up maneuver to shift to the top side instead of going back bot, because Hope, despite going down, would have been in a really good position because he would have just gotten so much CS, been able to crash that wave if Doggo and Kaiwing had to just walk back.
Yeah, just answer it with rest teleport, and now Flandre, since Flandre's going to walk, you know, you are going to have the Flandre teleport advantage, but I don't know if that really is going to be super useful. We'll see, though. Nice ward, by the way, when they go for the long play. That ward in bottom lane to see the timing on the way back. And teleport out is answered from Shanks. Kaiwing, you're on a ward, buddy, so they aren't going to get too much there.
Another reset and swap from CFO. They did get more experience on the bottom side. Flandre still a ways away from 6. Rest ticked his on the bottom side. Reset goes back top to clear the wave. Loses a couple of creeps here, but it means that CFO have their bot lane in position around Drake.
Okay, Tarzan's running over to contest. LEona's pretty far away. LEona and Orianna will come, but it is later.
Tarzan. Ready with the wind becomes lightning. Shanks, level 6. So is HongQ. 800, Smite gonna finish it. Kael wants to keep the fight going. JunJia isolated off to the side, but it's HongQ immediately diving in on top of Tarzan, trying to stop any fall. But now it's a 3v2 in the river. HongQ absorbing so much pressure, likely gonna cost him his life, but he manages to take one with him. CFO grabbed the objective, likely to take down Kael as well. 1-for-1 trade thus far on top of the Drake. Flandre doesn't hit the ult! It's so close, pixels away. Kaiwing, they managed to go right back in. Kael holding on for an extra second. Feet of warfare there. Kaiwing right in the back of the pit. He's a dead man walking, doesn't have a flash. They're gonna take a bit more time and clean him up, but my God, what a start to game 2.
Was that anti-synergy between Ziggs Satchel and the ultimate from Flandre right there? That like spread the water, parted the water so they
I'm so glad we have replays, Kobe. I have no idea.
Yeah, but it ends up, and it's first 3 kills over to CFO, so they get the feats, and that was without, of course, the Rumble, since Rumble had used teleport, and CFO are -1 on teleports in this game. Let's take a look at that replay. So they finish the dragon, get it low, Q smite here from JunJia, and then AL know that they're gonna have the extra person here. You see Ziggs on the minimap coming down, and so that's why it's critical that HongQ 2v1s, as you are highlighting, because the extra person from AL is going to come clean. 2v1 from HongQ. Hits the ult, he even started emoting as he was taking it back. Anyways, here's the moment we want to see, because I'm pretty sure Satchel Charge splits them apart. Yeah!
Oh,
it's anti-synergy!
no.
The Satchel splits them and makes it so Flandre's entry into the pit is delayed, and that allows Doggo to get the 3rd kill for the feats.
Impressive stuff. And again, at the end of the day, AL getting an extra kill. As CFO started the fight with 1 from the tower dive bottom, but they get the feats first, and that's what's crucial, and they get the Drake as well. And you don't want to call back to game 1. You kind of want to let that be the past, but the little moments where the team isn't on the same page is so often what cost AL the fights. That's a little upsy. You're still getting kills. You're not trading down too far. It's only a 700 gold lead, but this is the thing that AL need to improve. They can't afford those moments where they're not on the same page.
Well, well, well. Okay, Tarzan gets chased out of stealing the red, but they should be able to at least... Oh, they're going to finish the burst on this one.
Finish the burst. Rest ready to contest. Doggo waiting off to the side. Coling up and available. That's JunJia coming down from the stars. Tarzan isolated face first with Rest. It's going to be a tough fight, but in comes the public execution on the backside. Down goes Rest. Kael going to take the kill. Another one going to fall as Kaiwing gets taken out. HongQ versus Shanks in the bottom lane, but it might not matter. Tarzan's running for his life. JunJia ready to finish that one off. Doggo gets it with a piercing light. HongQ will escape in the bot lane 1v1.
Okay, so +1 on the kills for CFO. The Pantheon ultimate allows the chase. JunJia is able to force the fight. They get the extra kill. They're not going to get the extra grub, I don't think, yet, because the teleport from LEona... No. Yes?
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Yes.
So LEona is able to push them off, so they delay the grub for now, so nobody gets the last one.
1 for 1. The
Not
grubs, as of yet. Reset coming in first, though, from Tarzan means he's likely to take that one. Okay, we take a look back at how this starts.
So, JunJia is able to ult over here. They focus onto Tarzan, but the ulti from Tarzan does delay their kill onto him and requires the flash back in. Meanwhile, they did get the ulti there from Flandre to go in and get their kill. CFO, though, as 3, still stronger. They get the extra kill, taking down Tarzan, removing the enemy jungler so they could go get the 1 grub, but Tarzan then goes back to collect the final.
Good for AL to have that boon, that extra stack towards the necessary feats. Important to know, though, this is Kaiwing getting so much value out of the Braum. You see so many teams struggle when they don't have that immediate reliable engage, but he's just getting concussive blow after concussive blow, and it makes these skirmishes so impossible for Tarzan and Flandre to play, because while the initial burst is good, you're going to get CC'd. There's no dodging it.
Yeah, definitely some good value in the Braum pick, especially for later on in the game. The team fights, very effective counter engage. All right, back into the regular lanes, though, with having Akali match Orianna and Rumble match Flandre's Ambessa. So Lucian in mid lane always feels pretty good at the moment. You know, with even just Essence Reaver, a lot of burst potential there, going for some heavy trades, trying to push him out. Meanwhile, HongQ up here, Akali versus Ori in side lanes always feels really good, keeping up the pressure, keeping up the threat. Of course, while the towers are still up, it's not really that scary.
Also going for Roa, because, I mean, good understanding from Shanks. Oftentimes people will criticize Ori's over-prioritizing Roa, as we see Ulti coming out there. That's just a shockwave. Would have liked to get a little bit more. Now at least he's getting prio. But of course, against assassins, against people who are going to dive you, the tanky option makes sense.
Speaking of dive, are they going to dive bottom? Because Flandre is out of energy, and Pantheon is walking bottom at the moment.
Doggo. Pursued out. Flash away from the wind becomes lightning. Good that he'll get that cooldown. Now they can shift their attention topside. They see the TP coming in. Want to punish HongQ. HongQ, though, knows that Shanks has no ultimate. There's not a lot of damage here quite yet. Also, Ziggs ult was used in the mid lane, but with 4 people on the way,
no shroud.
Go in. Knows that he has to commit at least a little bit to get away. Wave being held. Instantaneous knockup. Nice back-up coming in from HongQ. Redemption coming in. Healing there. They'll finally cut him down. In the meantime, a push back in the mid lane for CFO, but well played by AL.
Okay, Pantheon has ulti, so Kaiwing's trying to make time right now. They could Pantheon ulti up with the dolly.
Push in. So they want to keep playing fight. Kael so low. Just barely able to escape the spear. The extra damage might have finished the job.
Ooh, good job here from AL. They get their dive off. They also escape. Double globals being used on them. So that was a teleport plus a Pantheon ult to the top side. And AL were able to escape. Can't lock down the LEona. Can't keep him under tower. And AL escape.
Doggo will grab another plate. The commitment to try and re-engage on the top side Does guarantee he has some free time mid. Forces the
Braum attack!
Hope.
Super blast cone.
Casual fly in.
Super blast cone. Braum coming in with the Q, but doesn't result in anything. So, honestly, I thought the redemption from Kaiwing I thought that thing was actually going to allow HongQ to, some further antics and survive, but good for AL to be able to finish that kill and get out, because the game had been kind of slipping away from them once again. They do have their 2 grubs, but being down 2 dragons as well as a little bit of the gold does cause some worry.
That it does. The thing that they always have to be aware of on the side of CFO is the little mistakes will cost you dearly, right? Because if the Ziggs team is ever in a position where they control the map, you'll just start deleting towers, especially with the grubs. So there is a lot of potential standing gold as we get later into the game for AL if they can find that big team fight win. But for now, CFO seem pretty comfortable. Unfortunately for HongQ, hasn't been able to complete a major item yet, has had bits and pieces kind of stopping off halfway for a null magic mantle. Once he starts getting those early items fully completed, he's going to have a lot more 1v1 threat. Yeah,
and we were highlighting HongQ, or excuse me, Doggo. We were highlighting both of them.
There's been a lot of highlights.
But in Champion Select, we were talking a lot about Doggo, and he's going to be the one you have to worry about a lot right now, because Lucian, with a sizable gold lead here, just puts so much pressure out from mid-game in mid-lane. Going for quick trades, using the culling to try and force people out, get some big chunks, and then lead over into the side for the objective. Dragon number 3 comes up pretty quickly in this game, and with CFO stacking them pretty effectively here, they're going to be able to draw AL out into the team fight that they're looking for, and you have to ward your flanks here for AL. You do not want to let the assassins get a free line to your carries.
No, you do not. And additionally, Chemtech, obviously, not everyone's ideal soul, not everyone's favorite soul, but when you have an Akali, Pantheon, and a Rumble, it's going to do a lot of work. You are going to get a lot of value out of it. Kaiwing doing what he can to clear vision. Just throwing cheekies, winners, bites. Walking up, queuing people. That's the life. Yeah. AL first on the setup here. Mid-wave still relatively even. Hope has now hit that threshold where he can just kind of clear the waves from enough of a distance that Doggo hasn't been able to, well, at least without the culling, get too much damage down. Continuing to fist fight with Rest, the shielding still making it quite easy. The red buff also keeping him topped off as Doggo dashing into the mid lane. Kaiwing and Kael there to cover their respective carries. Now, the objective in the sight of both teams is this Herald. AL the ones to start it. Flashes up just about everybody in this game. Tarzan still waiting a bit, as is Doggo.
Careful for Shanks. He's on the top side by the Akali, and Pantheon could ult over the team into his head. If the Pantheon ults on the Ori plus the Akali pressure up there, it makes the positioning through River really dangerous for your low mobility carry.
Also, you have to keep in mind that Shanks has ticked over to level 11. It was slightly before HongQ. HongQ has just now gotten his, but the level 2 on that shockwave can be devastating. So something that CFO have to respect is Rest isolating Flandre.
That was, I believe, I don't know if we saw it, but Flandre flashed.
Flandre flashed, equalizer down, and of course, no way to cancel the Ambessa TP, so I like the decision to chunk out there. However, the all-in, the commitment on the bottom side does make AL feel pretty comfortable going for that Herald. Will grab it for themselves, and Herald plus a Ziggs satchel means at least one dead turret.
Okay. AL get another topside objective. So 2 grubs plus the Herald here. Some extra tower destroying power for the team that has the Ziggs, as you pointed out.
Yep.
So multiple tower destroying facets to this AL squad. And if they can use that to cash in on some of the outer tower gold before the dragon, well, before the dragon soul fight, because the current dragon is already up.
Current dragon's up. 18, I did not see 8 minutes. I just saw 18 seconds. I was like, dang, 18 seconds of the Baron. We've been in this game forever.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this this possible dragon fight then. If you use Rift Herald mid lane with the Ziggs there, that is a recipe for tower destruction for sure. So AL, use that mid to get your mid priority, and then you can just have an easy setup for this dragon number 3. And while HongQ is pushing topside, CFO can just make the decision to give up dragon number 3. They don't have to keep stacking them. It's the choice right now for CFO between Do we keep our Akali split pushing? I mean, the tower's going to go down early, so I guess he could just get the tower and then still have time to teleport in. Are we going to see it?
Not wanting to risk, I think, the full-on 5v5 without the setup, respecting Shanks on this Orianna, respecting the AoE damage that can come through. So instead, prioritizing the side lanes, giving up mid lane in exchange for top lane. Will they concede the Drake?
Oh, he's teleporting. Here we go.
They do want the full fist fight. Kaiwing kicking things off, already exhausted. Off on the backside, it's Rez who's getting deleted, but he manages to go golden for a brief moment. HongQ trying to immediately follow up. Tarzan isolated. Follow-up is there, but the ulti's keeping him safe. HongQ immediately into the midst of the entire team as Flandre is forced back for a brief moment. JunJia flashing in. Shockwave yanking him right back as HongQ continues to live, but it's hope on the backside. HongQ alive once again. Flandre re-engaging. The shield keeping him standing. Flandre in the midst of the entire team. He manages to make it work.
What a fight! AL clutch it out there. They're going to get the dragon on top of all of the extra kills.
Impressive stuff. Exactly what AL needed. A gold lead, the momentum in their favor, stopping the dragon, stacking, taking a fight off CFO.
Holy, okay. They get the extra flower petals. They get the Drake on top of it. Wow, what an amount of damage there. And the flank round, the backside. I mean, Rest went super early. So AL got so much extra damage into Rest and forced out Rest's arm guard there super early on in the fight. Kind of made it a little weird for CFO to fight here. So let's take a look. AL had good positioning here. Through the river, they got the double control wards, and Rest walks up. Tarzan immediately onto him. Him and Flandre get that Zhonya's out early. Then you look at the bottom side, Hope there, had Ziggs satcheled away. So Ziggs was so far from the rest of the team, and he's walking over the Dragon Pit. Then, as they go in, they got the knockback there. HongQ gets chunked so low, not quite finished by Hope, but then the rest of them can finish it. And Flandre with the re-engage just tears them apart.
And again, credit to AL. It's easy to forget after that first game where they were so outclassed how incredible this team is at team fighting. Good patience, using their range, collapsing on the flanker, making sure that Rest didn't have that perfect angle. He got a great equalizer, but he was taken down in the process, and it made it so much harder for HongQ to play out that fight. You could see, I mean, honestly, really good job with the Xin ulti, with the flash, to make sure that all of his cooldowns weren't able to find the kill.
Yeah, and Shanks there with the peel for the team as CFO were trying to chase through the jungle. Good Orianna play there. I believe he got a key shockwave.
He did, yeah. He managed to get the pullback on the Pantheon stun in, so yeah. Excellent stuff from him. 4-0-4 his scoreline now as well, almost a 2,000 gold lead. The shockwave is a scary thing now with this kind of advantage.
Okay, AL here in the must-win game. Now retaking some control for themselves. They have really good wave control with this lineup as well. Ziggs bomb allows so much for your macro. Not only does he take teleport, but the bomb with the extra wave clear here, they can set up for the bottom side of the map easily. You know, top side tower goes down, and so Otacon on bottom side. They've already taken care of mid tower, so get your mid priority and then rotate your resources over to the Otacon area. Push in on that last outer tower and make it a bit more risky here for CFO now. Things are going to get much more difficult to play this comp.
Definitely are. We mentioned some of the weaknesses earlier, right? The range advantage for the side of AL means that in kind of, if you just line up these 5v5 skirmishes, we often see the poke is going to be a problem. The culling from Lucian is good, but not enough to balance what the Ziggs and the Orianna can do. The pressure is there. AL able to respond, clear out the vision that CFO set up just moments ago. Both sides knowing how crucial this Otacon is. That's the ulti coming in for JunJia. Sees them in the pinch. Wants to go in. Tarzan using an ulti, but on an immediate shutdown. HongQ trying to find his way onto Hope to make sure that no more damage can follow up. Flash forward, stun from Kael, and they take down HongQ. 4-man stack from CFO, though, still standing, still strong. Two down.
They got the jungler, so I was wondering if they're going to go to try and do Otacon. It's still an objective that takes a lot to kill, though, and knowing that, okay, they are going to at least start it up here. There's no smite on the side of AL, but Flandre does have ulti. So Ambessa ulti, and if they bring Ziggs over...
Kaiwing has TP. is immediately going to TP back to the fight. They need to be careful, though. Their resistances are getting shredded. Hope is going to hit like a truck. They're trying to zone Kaiwing out of the fight for a brief moment.
Burn it.
4K,
the patience, they love the patience.
Getting lower. Altin coming in from Flandre, immediately takes down one. TP coming in the meantime for the rest of AL. Flandre flashing back to get away from Doggo. Wants to turn the fight back. Doesn't have the shield up in time as Doggo gets one back in return. AL holding the bottom lane. Standing strong. They will not concede the Herald. The patience starting to run thin. And it looks like we're going to have to go one more time because Otacon's not out of this one yet.
Otacon has no patience for these teams. He resets again, but it's critical. If the person that has Otacon aggro, the closest one to the Otacon, is outside the circle, then it resets at just a critical time there, and CFO were unable to finish it. So really big for AL. Flandre used his ulti. The Ambessa key here, they killed him, but the Otacon goes untaken.
Holding on, neither side able to grab the objective, but it's so damn close.
Wow. Okay, how far back are we going? We're going back to the Scuttle start. Yeah, so this is the very beginning of it. Pantheon engage was great, right onto them. They get the instant follow-up from the Braum, got the triple knockup, I believe. Then the burst damage, so from AL, they actually do finish off the kill onto HongQ before he can ult back. If they had been able to get that, it would have been really one side. But look at this patience. Because Rest is outside and Doggo is outside, it resets as Flandre goes for the re-engage. So Flandre snipes the Pantheon. They're not able to finish it. Then the teleports come in to get the full reset. I honestly want to see if we're setting up for it again. Are we getting back to set up for this?
One more time. JunJia ulting again, rinse and repeat. We've seen this one before, but this time it's Hope who's been isolated. Hope trying to flash away, Rest off to the side. Hope blocked out the satchel, not nearly enough to keep him standing. That's the ulti from the Ziggs. Not having a whole hell of a lot of effect. HongQ ready to retreat if need be, but Tarzan knows that he needs to follow. Equalizer to split the fight. They don't have tri-bush control. CFO, it's not a great angle to start. Rest is incredibly low, but they do have the man advantage. Instead, the Drake now set in their sights. Shanks moving in. Level 15 on the Orianna. The shockwave will hurt, but CFO refused to group. Doggo waiting over the wall, calling to split the fight. Need to keep Tarzan away. 2K getting lower. Tarzan steals it, but HongQ uses the Mega Blast Cone to get in. Instantly, he's suppressed by Flandre, denying the engage back in return. But AL get what they came for. They take the Drake.
Tarzan is a beast. He's able to get the Drake. They started up the Otacon again. I don't think they should. Well, they're going to continue doing it. Are teleports ready? No. Teleports are not ready for the Akali or for Rest. So AL, they're going to force it.
Goes out from Kaiwing. JunJia wants to try to find a way in, but AL have control of the tri-bush. That's Doggo, caught out, able to flash out to safety. AL continuing to chip away at these summoner spells, but their focus isn't on the objective. JunJia gonna walk forward too. They're risking so much just to attempt to steal. Finding kills back now. He's knocked up, he's taken down. Tarzan grabs another. Patience resetting on Otacon. Rest about to fall, holding onto his life. Surely AL get the objective.
Good focus from AL to go for kills and not over tunnel on the Otacon. Tarzan constantly looking for anyone stepping up from the side of CFO. They get the kill onto JunJia, and they will finally, Drakos, get the Otacon.
That's the patient composure we were missing in game one from AL, playing for the kills, not giving the opportunity for any cheeky fast plays. CFO now, after the Otacon is taken, do respond with a tower of their own, but AL, despite a small gold deficit, now have the Otacon in their favor.
Tarzan with the steal. The W smite steal here. Wind becomes lightning, and Dragon becomes AL's. Braum ultimate here is pretty good over them, but Flandre's ult is even better. They chunk out HongQ on so quickly. He has to immediately ult himself out, and he didn't have teleport, so they knew they had the extra advantage. They set up it again on the Otacon, eventually fish around.
HongQ! Sure can flip back in. Tarzan wants to keep going. HongQ laying down a bit more damage. Dash out with the perfect execution. Ulti coming in from Hope. HongQ zoned away now. AL, do they want to go for Baron here? They don't really have the best situation for their waves and bottom side, but they might not care.
Really good focus from AL on attacking this Akali. Flandre and Tarzan have just had their eyes set on him, constantly getting these big engages onto the Akali. Even in the times where they don't actually kill him, chunking him out so low and forcing the ultimate out in a defensive escape ultimate from HongQ. Really taking away the potential of that champion to apply threat. So AL with a really good look here in these fights, and it has really allowed, you know, Shanks on this Orianna at level 16 now to scale up so nicely. Yeah. See if AL can really bring this one home, because pushing us to a game 3 here in this series, I think everybody wants that. You want to see some good League of Legends here, and the Baron is on the table now.
One of the things I will point out, Doggo liked going for some of these utility items in the previous game. We saw Experimental Hexblade on the Draven. We're seeing Black Cleaver on the Lucian. Obviously, additional movement speed, additional HP, recognizing that there's so many dive threats. Doesn't want to just get one shot.
Yeah. Worth saying, even with the Otacon being taken and the Dragon being stolen by AL, and even with this tower going down, they're still slightly behind in gold.
Doggo chasing, poke damage onto Kael. Be careful not to overcommit here,
Pantheon
but JunJia might just be on the way, and he is! It's the Pantheon! Right to the back line, Aegis assault to block, and he fall off damage. Decent equalizer to kick things off, but Tarzan is relatively untouched. HongQ in the midst, the team almost immediately gets taken down. Ulti from Flandre! So many low health bars! Flandre, Tarzan, and Shanks tear through CFO!
AL are gonna get that Baron. I don't think there's anything JunJia can do about it. Flash not coming off cooldown. AL will strike back here in game 2.
The re-engage is just so lethal. The confidence to start from CFO is good, but AL play it beautifully.
Chasing into Orianna Ziggs, Drakos, is a minefield. It is so much damage. All right, so Flandre is going to get a Guardian Angel after that one too. You mentioned his ulti for the turn, but here it is. So look, they go for Braum ult and they Pantheon ult over the top to go for the engage. Rumble ultimate didn't get a lot of value this time either, and Tarzan's able to ult and then turn right back around. Look at all this damage from Shanks and Hope from the left side, and Flandre just ults right back in. Blender there as they chase them through and clean up the Baron.
And the thing is, if you're not keeping constant threat on Shanks and Hope, they just get to rain damage down. And the little bits of CC here that come through from Tarzan, from Flandre, it's just too much to deal with. The squishy members of CFO. AL in firm control, leveraging this Baron to its fullest potential here. Red Bull Baron power play.
Shanks with the 5k damage in that last fight, and Shanks is, if you consider a stacked up Dark Seal a real item, which is like, it's kind of a real item, and he's got the Blighting Jewel as well, for it's like, it's kind of like a half item there. He's pretty full, and with the Baron buff, AL, they're not gonna let you breathe for very long. Taking down mid tower inhibitor, under fire as well. The Dragon is on the table, so after inhibitor, they're gonna go towards bottom side, take down that turret.
And there's not a lot of counterplay from CFO outside of forcing an engage, but it's AL who will force it first. Tarzan getting us ticked off, immediate knockup. Down goes Rest. CFO gonna retreat, holding the line for now, but again, AL have more range, better siege tool, more threat. CFO can only force a fight. It's their only recourse against the push, against the pressure that AL are putting down. JunJia gonna kick things off. Flandre still has the GA. Aegis assault to keep him standing for now. Will retreat. Ball pulled back. HongQ tries to get a little bit more space. Dash back, but he still gets clipped. Doggo now running. Wind becomes lightning as he's caught out. Forced back into the fountain as AL determined to take us to game 3. Beautiful team fighting across the board. HongQ shut down and denied time and time again.
The Shockwave pulls him back in at the end for another kill onto HongQ. Wow, what a series we've got today, Drakos.
I'm glad to see it. CFO, hell of a time in game 1, did what they could in game 2, but AL finally seeing what made them such a force to be reckoned with the first 2 days of this tournament. Let's send it over to the analyst desk to see what's in store for us in game 3.
I love League of Legends! Oh my god! This series is serving. Honestly, I'm happy to see AL come back.